Ryan S. Answer this question for me. Can you
Hmm.
tell me, where do the majority of mass shootings happen?
Well, I seem to recall that there are places that have these big signs that say no guns allowed,
No.
gun-free zone.
So I think it's just the sign was not large enough. So you may have already seen the episode we did about whether or not you can be a faithful Latter-day Saint and believe in the Democrat platform. Now, this is a continuation of that same conversation where we get away from the doctrinal things, but talk about some of the principal things, and in particular, this one about gun ownership, gun rights, and why you should actually be concerned about that. Ryan is actually a fantastic resource for insights on this, given his own background. You should take a listen to this. I find it very eye-opening for me. So let's go to gun reform. In response
Uh,
to a rash of deadly mass shootings, Democrats have fought for common sense gun safety reforms, including expanded background checks, red flag laws, and measures to keep assault weapons out of the hands of dangerous people. These measures are helping to curb gun violence and make communities safer. Ryan, go ahead and call out like what do you see about here? What are the lies in here?
all of it is lies. So, common sense gun safety, nobody can really say what common sense gun safety really means. I've never heard an
Ambiguous.
actual definition other than we just need to take everyone's guns.
And well, they say they do specify, including, explain this, Ryan. Why don't we already have expanded background checks and red flag laws?
So, when they say expanded background checks, I'm not really sure I know what that means. So, I have my FFL, I run background checks every day for customers that come through my shop. They're already pretty expensive or pretty expansive. I don't know what even more expanded background checks would mean. The only thing I could think of would be um, state law enforcement agencies communicate better with federal law enforcement agencies to say, hey, here's the records, especially violent offenders, uh, criminal history records,
Yeah.
maybe they try to include that a bit more. Um, I don't know. That's the only I can think of for expanded universal background checks, whatever.
Yeah. Red flag laws. We already have red flag laws.
Well, number one, those are completely unconstitutional, anyways. Those are, and this is, and Trump actually supported some red flag law stuff in his first term, which was stupid and made me mad, a lot of people mad, because it's a lack of due process. It's anyone who's angry at you for whatever reason. This would be the abusive side of it, right? Someone is like, hey, we think this person's a danger to our community. No questions asked through red flag laws. The police come. Now, hopefully the cops have common sense, but we're just following the law
Yeah, they just
orders.
follow through on things and
Um,
not implement common sense. Then it's just
right.
dangerous all the way
So
around.
they can show up to my house like I mow my yard with a gun on my hip.
First things first, do not try this at home.
Right? I'm my own property. It doesn't bother anybody. It shouldn't bother anybody. Um, and there are tactical reasons behind that, but whatever. It's
But I
kind of
mean, you're not like we doggy.
yeah. I'm not waving it around, but all it takes is somebody in my neighborhood that doesn't understand guns to say he's brandishing, and that's the key word, brandishing. He's brandishing a firearm. I can see it. He's brandishing a firearm. And that's all it needs for a cop to come up and say, hey, what is going on? Someone said you're brandishing a firearm, right? Because brandishing to them means unholstered, waving it around and pointing it, right?
Exactly.
That's what they think brandishing means. That's kind of more of on the law enforcement side. That's what they're going to be thinking. And it's like, no, I'm just carrying it on my hip. It's an open carry state. If it's, if they're like, well, do you have concealed carry? Like, fine, I'll put my shirt over it, whatever. But all it takes is one person to complain like that and say he's brandishing a firearm or, someone's got a gun. And in my small town, that's going to drive everybody, all the cops will come running because there's nothing else to do around here. So they'll come running. They can confiscate, take my guns, basically arrest me. And then I have to prove myself innocent in court and hopefully
That you
get
are
my gun
guilty
rights
until
back.
you prove yourself innocent. That's the problem here. It's that you are
Exactly.
guilty. You're instantly labeled guilty and must prove yourself innocent before they're going to give you your stuff back and let you free.
Exactly. And if it hasn't taken too long, hopefully they haven't destroyed my firearms at that point. Because
Gee. Oh
they
my
do that. They
gosh.
can destroy them or whatever, you know. So, you know, and I have a gun shop. So what happens to my customers' guns? What happens to, you know, whatever. So all it takes is one person that doesn't like guns to say, this person's a threat, this person's a danger. And there doesn't
That's
have to
crazy.
be, they don't have to prove anything. The person complaining does not have to prove anything. All they got to say is, hey, this guy scares me and I'm going to come get looked at and I'm guilty right off the bat. So that's red flag laws. So that's completely unconstitutional because it reverses due process, basically.
Here's an example of getting away from due process from the Book of Mormon. So I believe it's in it's in Third Nephi or Helaman. I always forget. I think it's actually the beginning of Third Nephi that the judges, the lower judges, are so corrupt with the Gideon robbers that when the prophets come by and say things that they don't like, they arrest them and then execute them. They have them killed. And then the thing is, it says that the only person who can give permission for capital punishment is the chief judge of the land. And he's only hearing about all these murders after the fact. Like, oh, and by the way, remember Ben? He was saying we're wicked. We kill him. We thought he was breaking a law. And
Yeah.
Horn's like, what? You can't. Or I think it was Pecumeni maybe was like, well, you can't do that. But that's what happens, right? If due process is gone,
Hmm.
then there's no recourse, right? Like there's no way to protect yourself,
Oh,
which is dangerous.
yeah.
Here's the other thing. So gun reform here, it also says, and they take measures to keep assault weapons out of the hands of dangerous people. So here's the question. What's an assault weapon?
An assault weapon is this. That's an assault weapon. Any of my tools, that's an assault weapon because,
These,
yeah,
you can assault someone with it.
um, no, there's no such thing. Definitionally speaking, there's no such thing as far as a firearm goes that's defined as an assault weapon.
This is an assault rifle. I don't know.
It only becomes an assault rifle when you assault someone with it.
Right? Now,
Big scary words to scare people with little minds.
exactly. It's an assault weapon. Assault is the verb. A weapon is anything. Right? That's that right there. That solves that. Now, where people get confused, you know, weapons of war and blah 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 blah. An assault, there is such thing as an assault rifle. Now, any modern,
Isn't that interesting? Sorry, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
There is
so
assault rifles, but they say assault weapons because they are going for the pistols now.
well, right.
They're
So
going to go for it. They have to.
yeah. So for those that are wondering that might not know a lot about guns that watch this channel, an assault rifle is actually a weapon that the military uses, that militaries have used across the world, basically since World War II was kind of when the first assault rifle, you could say, started. Basically, it's a firearm in kind of an intermediate cartridge or even like a larger cartridge. So because we're in America, we're going to say the AR pattern, the AR-15, right?
Yeah.
This thing right here, right? The AR-15, the big black scary gun. Ooh, super scary. Now, an assault rifle, like we use in the military, had safe, you know, these are the functions, right? The safety function, so you can't shoot it. A single shot, so semi-automatic, one bullet per trigger pull. And then you had a couple different variations, but the one I usually had was a 3-round burst. So it's like fully automatic for 3 bullets and then it shuts off, kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
mechanically speaking, it blows my mind still, and I'm a gun guy, so I don't know. Whatever it is. And then there were other ones that were fully automatic, right? One trigger squeeze, many bullets until you let go or you run out of bullets. Okay, so I just laugh at the way that Democrat politicians have described, you know, fully semi-automatic and all this kind of stuff.
Full semi-automatic.
Anyways, that's not even the thing.
It's
So
fully semi. That's the thing. Like these
So it's
these ain't no partial
semi-automatic to me.
semis. They don't give up on the semi shooting at any point. They will
Yeah.
always stay semi.
So the assault rifle, unless you feel like paying over 30 grand and doing an extensive background check through the National Firearms Act and through the ATF and all this kind of stuff, you're not going to have an assault rifle at all. Like what I have right here or back here, those are just AR-15s. You only get safe and semi. That's it. It's not an assault rifle. It's just a gun that shoots one bullet at a time.
Exactly. Now,
That's all.
I want to call out one more thing in this gun reform piece. It says, in response to a rash of deadly mass shootings, Ryan S. answer this question for me. Can you tell me, where do the majority of mass shootings happen?
Well, I seem to recall that there are places that have these big signs that say no guns allowed,
No.
gun-free zone. So,
Gun-free zones. I mean,
that can't be true because guns aren't allowed there. So there can't be shootings at
well, I think there's an
places
addendum
that say
to
no
their,
guns.
there's an addendum to the gun reform thing here. It says we need more money for larger gun-free zone signs. So I think it's just the sign was not large enough to let people know.
Oh, that's what it
No
is.
guns here.
Who does a gun-free zone really prohibit from having guns? Law-abiding citizens, not criminals. Criminals don't follow the law. So why would they obey the sign? That's a valid point. If I'm going to rob a bank, why would I care about the sign that says no guns?
You wouldn't at all.
So now you have a bank filled with unarmed citizens, and if they neutralize the security guard, guess who's the only one with guns? Now guess who has a monopoly on power?
I got you.
And it's funny because,
Well, literacy rates are down in the country, so there is that too.
especially in Democrat cities where the
into this.
gun-free zones are too. So if we give them more money for better education, I mean, we're already giving them tons of money. Maybe a little bit more will get them to have better education in those cities.
Not for much longer though.
And then, and larger signs. But the majority of people being murdered, not committing suicide, but being murdered with a weapon, with a pistol or a rifle, with a gun, are cities where they have banned weapons, right? Chicago is being a really, really good example of that.
Yeah.